Yes, like this incident was rather traumatic for my daughter, and she was forced and is forced to relive it every time someone mentions it.
$35,000 in damages awarded by the Human Rights Tribunal to a 6-year-old black girl who was handcuffed by Peel Regional Police officers back in 2016. Now, a publication ban protects the identity of the little girl and her family. Tonight, City News speaks exclusively with her mother about the long-awaited decision that's left many concerned.
Well, I was elated. I really appreciate the decision, and I think it was like a long overdue.
In the 40-page Human Rights Tribunal decision, the shocking details about the interactions between Peel Police and a black student at a school west of Toronto 4 years ago, handcuffing the hands of a 6-year-old behind her back, placing her on her stomach with her legs handcuffed, and holding her in that position for 28 minutes. The human rights adjudicator called this an overreaction that was shocking and punitive.
She was experiencing crisis, and as such, she should have been handled with care. And as a child, a 6-year-old child who was going through crisis, not criminalized, not victimized.
The 6-year-old displayed behavior issues at the school, with the adjudicator noting that police were called in because she would re-escalate after calming down. The decision notes the trained school staff member had grown tired in applying a child safety lock hold, normally enforced up to 15 minutes at a time.
He was doing his absolute best. He was the only one that was trained at the time. And so the school's next option, well, the one they took was to call the police.
The adjudicator noted though the officers were polite and professional and there were no physical injuries, the conduct in question was serious and, quote, the applicant experienced fear during the incident and following the incident experienced humiliation, shame, loss of self-confidence, and a misplaced sense that she was at fault.
I do think it's telling, and it speaks to anti-Black racism, that we need so much training and education to not treat a small Black child this way when they've had no problem not treating white children this way up to this point.
Back in March, the tribunal did rule that race was a factor in this incident, in this most recent decision saying the applicant would experience anti-Black racism at such a young age is alarming. It is clear that because of this incident, she became aware that as a Black person, she may be subject to different treatment than a white child.
And it was very hard as a parent to watch and to see that she was trying to shoulder the brunt of the responsibility when all adults that were present and all adults that were involved in the incident should be the only ones that should be bearing the brunt of the burden.
Peel Police tell us no misconduct charges have been laid against those officers, but they do say as a result, they have developed further training for police officers responding to schools. JB, that girl's mother, also tells me that as a result of these hearings, she learned that this wasn't the first time the school had contacted police on her daughter. She adds that her daughter is now 10 years old and attending a different school. In Toronto, I'm Faiza Amin for City News.